Hello everyone, and welcome to Kaiju Movie Review. In keeping with tradition, I'll be reviewing the fourth Gamera movie for you today. As I am familiar with these movies, my expectations for this film were not too high going in, but as I soon found out, even then I was expecting a bit much from this one. You'll find out what I'm talking about here in a minute. So here is Destroy All Planets, also known as Gamera vs. Space Monster Varan from 1968. We open on a scene of a strange-looking spacecraft approaching the Earth. An alien inside of the spacecraft explains that they are coming to capture the Earth and claim the planet for themselves. Gamera intercepts the ship and destroys it, but not before it can call for reinforcements. We then move down to the Earth where a group of scouts have gathered to test a new type of simple submarine. Two of these kids, Misao and Jim, the group's troublemakers, have strayed away from the troop to wreak havoc. The boys come across a small sub and mess around with it, causing the controls to become reversed. After humiliating the creator of the sub and their scout leader, the two boys hop in the sub and show them how it's done. After jacking around in the ocean for a bit, they come across Gamera and race around with him. During their little adventure, another alien craft arrives with the goal of taking care of Gamera before capturing the Earth. The invaders trap Gamera in a dome of energy so they can read his thoughts to find any possible weakness. They scan his mind and we are treated to, and I am not kidding, 19 minutes and 50 seconds of stock footage. Yes, I timed it. Gamera is freed and the aliens capture the two boys and use them as hostages against him. He is tricked to go near the spaceship where a mind control device is set on the back of his neck. It is now up to the boys aboard the ship to rid Gamera of the aliens' mind control and escape before the world is destroyed. I'm going to talk about the aliens first before I get to Viras. They refer to themselves as Virians, and although they look like humans in appearance, it is actually a ruse. The Virians are very intelligent, but seem to be obsessed with mind control and telepathy. When the aliens finally show their true selves, they look exactly like the giant monster Viras, just smaller. The monster Viras is actually their leader after he has absorbed all of the other crew members into himself. He looks like some type of alien squid, but really doesn't do anything special. Aside from having tentacles, the only other thing he can really do is form the three tendrils on his head into a point and throw himself at his opponents. It's a very effective attack if it connects. However, it can leave the monster wide open to attacks if he happens to miss. So even though Viras is a less than stellar monster, that's not the only bad thing about him. When I watch a monster movie, especially a monster versus monster movie, I expect to see both of the creatures about 20 to 40 minutes into the picture. We may get Gamera about 15 minutes in, but Viras doesn't show up until around the 1 hour and 19 minute mark, and the movie's only an hour and a half long. It's cool that they try to do some different stuff, but when you name your movie Gamera vs. Space Monster Viras, you can't have the other monsters show up 5 minutes at the very end of the flick. It just doesn't work. The special effects in this movie are on par with the last one. Most of them show what they need to show and don't look too terrible doing it. I think the only one that I didn't like was when Viras was fusing with all of the other crew members to grow huge. The effect was pretty bad. I feel they could have spent a little more time with it and made it more passable, or at least figured out a way to do it differently. I really just didn't care much for this movie. It had a lot of things working against it. Kids are an even greater focus on the film, a rather slow, boring story, monsters that don't appear until the end of the movie, and an almost 20-minute block of stock footage right in the first third of the picture. This movie could have easily been condensed into a 30 to 45 minute TV special, and it probably would have actually been a better show. I suppose I should mention a few good things, like the voice acting. While not the best, it's better than some of the previous films, and the idea of Viras was pretty cool. I only recommend this one for anyone who is a die-hard Gamera nut. Anyone else is probably just better off avoiding it. So I bless this movie with a 2 out of 5. Mind you, it's a very, very weak 2.